Hey guys, I'm sure you've heard about people who refinance, right? And they get all this money out. And, that's called a cash out refinance. And you're curious, like, how does this work? Who can do it? How much can you get? Well, I kind of want to go over a couple of things, right? Because maybe you're thinking about some home improvements. Maybe you want to put on an addition. Maybe you're remodeling your kitchen or remodeling your bathroom. You know, and you might want to consider a cash out refinance, but I specifically want to, talk about the Federal Housing Administration, FHA, cash out refinance. Because the FHA cash out refinance loan is it's going to allow you to refinance your mortgage, right? Normally it's at a lower interest rate and pull out up to 80% of the equity that you have in your home for remodeling or home improvements, as well as, debt consolidation and some other reasons. And equity is the difference between the current value of your house and the amount that you owe on the mortgage. So, how much can you cash out? Well, how much you can take in and, FHA cash out refinance depends on how much equity you have that's actually been built up in your home, but you have to have at least 20% of equity left over after you refinance and take out some of that cash. So, in other words, you can't take out all of the available equity. You can get an idea how much your home is worth by using, a bunch of different websites. Zillow was very popular, right? And then you subtract what you owe on your mortgage from your home's estimated value. Now, if you owe, say, $250,000, but your home is now worth $450,000, that leaves you with $200,000 of equity. So you could take a $360,000 total loan, which is 80% of your home's value. Of that, 250,000 will go to pay off your mortgage, and 110,000 minus closing costs would be available for your cash out refinance. Okay, but who qualifies? Like, who can get it? Is it available to just anyone? Well, there's some things. So one of the ways or one of the things that will qualify a person we're going to start with is your credit score, because according to the FHA guidelines, applicants must have a minimum score of 580. So 580 and up qualifies you. Now, however, most lenders that provide FHA cash out refinance loans, they set their limits. And sometimes that typically, that might mean a minimum score of 600 to 620. So while FHA has a minimum of 580, when you go to a lender, they might say 600 to 620 instead. Now, some lenders will use the middle score if there are three different scores. Others may require that the lowest of the three credit scores is the one that they're going to use to qualify you. Now, your lender is the best source of information on their credit score requirements, right? And then the next thing is going to be your debt to income ratio. We talked about this in a previous video, but to make sure you can afford your new mortgage, without getting in over your head, the FHA has guidelines on the debt to income ratio that you need to qualify. Now, this can be calculated in a bunch of different ways, but essentially, it's how much debt you have compared to your gross monthly income. The two different methods of calculating this is going to include mortgage payment to income, and that's going to be calculated by dividing your total housing payment, um, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, homeowners association fees, etc., by your gross monthly income. That number, it's got to be lower than 31%. And then total fixed payment to income, which is calculated by adding up your total mortgage payment, right? Your principal, interest, taxes, insurance, HOA fees, and all of your recurring monthly expenses, such as student loans, credit card debt, auto loans, etc. Divide that amount by gross monthly income. This is your debt ratio and needs to be less than 43%. The next thing we need to talk about is your maximum loan to value ratio. Now, a loan to value ratio is the amount of equity that you have built up in your home. So let's say you've got a mortgage for about 315,000, but your home is worth 500,000. Now, the difference of 185,000 is your loan to value. To qualify for an FHA cash out refinance, the amount that you owe on your mortgage cannot be greater than 80% of your home's value. So, using the numbers we used, right, with your home being worth 500,000, 80% is 400,000. Now, if you owe more than 400,000, you're not going to qualify for the FHA cash out refinance, right? Then we need to talk about your time in residence, right? The FHA also has a length of residence qualification. And to qualify for the cash out refinance loan, you've got to live in your home and have had the mortgage that you will be refinancing for at least 12 months, one whole year. Then there's also your mortgage payment history. To qualify for the FHA cash out refinance, you also must have an on time payment history on your mortgage for the past year. That means you can't have had any late payments within the past 12 months. And then there's interest rates. FHA cash out refinances typically have low interest rates. On average, they'll be 10 to 15% basis points, right? So that's 0.10% to 0.15% lower than conventional cash out refinance loans. However, because the FHA offers more flexibility with credit scores and debt ratios compared to conventional loans, the loan requires you to have mortgage insurance with upfront and monthly mortgage insurance premiums, right? 1.75% of the new loan amount upfront and 0.85% of the loan amount annually and 12 payments per year. So what's the bottom line here? What do we take away from this? Well, despite the added insurance that we just talked about, if you need a cash out refinance loan and have a higher DTI ratio or lower credit scores, the FHA cash out refinance is a good product to examine. And for those with good credit and 20% equity, conventional cash out refinance would be more cost saving. So hopefully this gives you guys like a better understanding of cash out refinance loans and maybe point you in the right direction. Maybe you get an FHA cash out refinance, or at least point you in the right direction of what you need to do for cash out refinance. But I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. But until I see you guys in the next one, y'all be safe.